Yeah, well, please go ahead.
Okay. Hi everyone. This is Vale here. So about myself, I have 16 plus years of experience. I've worked on different platforms, backend systems, distributed applications. I've been working on backend systems, designing systems. I've worked on on-premises cloud, so different data products, data platforms. I've used AWS, Azure, and big data systems. I worked on Snowflake. I use Snowspark, DBT, Airflow, all this thing. So that is about my experience. So I've been working on enterprise, bigger companies, and then startups also. I worked on both. So that's about my experience. Today, like what we are going to see is, so these are the items we are going to see. So in the workshop, we are going to see why data warehouse and how you can build a modern data platform. You can call it as a modern data platform or a data products, how you can build a data driven products, how you can build. So, and then what tools we are going to learn, and in the course, what tools we are going to learn about the course syllabus, and we will see like projects what we are going to cover, and how you can learn the course, what are the tools you need to have access. So we'll see one by one. Okay, so we'll start first with like what is data warehouse and how to build a modern data platform using Snowflake, and then we will get into what we will learn in the course, what are the tools we are going to learn, and then the roadmap, course details, project details, everything we'll see in detail. So we are going to do two projects in the course. We will see about that also, the architecture of the project. Okay, so let us start. So in organizations, in enterprise, like they have data warehouse for collecting data from different sources. Why they need to have warehouse? Why? What is the purpose of warehouse? Because in organization, they have different business unit. Okay, so they have within the organization they have sales team, marketing team, finance team, they have operational teams. So different teams are there, third party agencies, like that there are multiple teams are there, and they use multiple application within the teams. Sales teams has their own applications. They have ERP systems, they have SaaS products, they use cloud products. Marketing team has their own applications. So their data, if you see, there are lot of data are being generated across the organizations. And if you want to do intelligence, if you want to build data driven applications, data products, then you need to collect this data, centralize this data. You bring it to a centralized place, then only I can do intelligence. I can build data driven applications. I can build recommendation applications, machine learning applications, generative AI. So all this thing, I have to collect the data from the source systems, bring it to a centralized area. So and then you can build data driven applications or machine learning applications or different kind of data products can build. So in organization, they use data warehouse for doing it. So in data warehouse, what we do, so this is the data warehouse architecture. So in data warehouse, you collect the data from different sources. It can be ERP systems, it can be operational databases. So you collect the data from various systems, you bring it to your warehouse, and then you do transformations, or you bring the data, bring it to the warehouse in a transform form, or bring it to the warehouse and then transform it. So this is how a data warehouse architecture looks. And then that warehouse data can be used for different analytical purpose or reporting or data mining purpose. So data warehouse plays a major role in organizations. So why they already have database, why they need another data layer, a storage layer in organizations? Okay, so why we need another storage layer as a warehouse here? Because your database has a scalability issue. It cannot scale. It cannot store large volume of data. But your data warehouse, it can scale. So that is the advantage here. So with your data warehouse system, you can store large amount of data. And data warehouse can be on premises, on the cloud. So okay, so we are going to see cloud-based data warehouse. So Snowflake is a cloud-based data warehouse system. Okay. Other than Snowflake, you have Databricks, Azure Synapse Analytics, Google BigQuery. So different data warehouse systems on the cloud. So at present, companies are moving into cloud because in cloud it's easier to manage. It's easier to, without creating infrastructure. It's easier to work and then work on the entire infrastructure. Okay, so that is the reason why companies are moving to cloud-based data warehouse systems instead of doing on-premises data warehouse system. And it's easier to scale. I can scale it up easily. I can go from a smaller machine to higher machines easily on the cloud. So that is the advantage of going into cloud-based data warehouse system. Okay, so far we have seen why data warehouse is needed and what is data warehouse. And as I said, in organization there are multiple business groups. The data are coming from different business group. You want to collect the data and then store it into centralized place, and then from the centralized data you are going to do analytics. So what are the sectors or what are the use cases there in industries? So you can see it is used across different sectors. It can be banking, it can be healthcare, education, manufacturing, different sectors, right? In companies like retail, they use data warehouse systems. Banking they use, transportation, government, all the sectors they use data warehouse system. And if you want to know more about this, you can go to the Snowflake customer sections. You will understand in detail about their customers and then their use cases. So you can see here where you can understand the each customers and for what purpose they use and what how they build at the data platform. Are they doing analytics? Are they doing data engineering? Or what purpose they are using Snowflake? That you will get it good understanding from this website. So it is like a little bit slow.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you explain the difference between database and data warehouse again?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you next. Okay, you can see here. So these are the different customers, and you can see by the use case whether they're using for analytics or they are using for data engineering or what kind of industry, whether they are into telecom or they are into financial services or healthcare. So you can see the use cases here. For example, I'll go to Capital One and you can understand their story, right? Like for what purpose they use. And Capital One is one of the customers who use heavily Snowflake in their environments, and they have been using Snowflake for more than 5 to 6 years. Okay, so Snowflake is a cloud-based data warehouse. We have seen what is data warehouse, and we have seen data warehouse are used by different customers across different sectors. Now let us see in organizations they use database, they use data warehouse, they use data mart and data lake, different data storage systems. Why need they need different storage systems? Because your database, database, we can say MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, right? Your database is a OLTP system. Your database is meant for transaction processing, where I can store recent data here. I can store 6 months of data, 1 year of data. Your OLTP system, it runs on a single server and it has a scalability problem. That means it cannot scale horizontally. You can scale vertically. So that is the problem with your OLTP system. So it cannot be used for, it cannot store large volume of data. When you store large volume of data, your performance goes down. You may get memory issues. You will have outages. Okay, that is the problem with the OLTP system. So they use it for storing 6 month data, 1 year data. But what is the advantage of OLTP system? It is faster. It can do read, write faster for smaller transactions. If I store some few records, few transactions, it can be faster. But it cannot use it for large volume of processing. You cannot run long running queries here in your OLTP. So you use it for e-commerce applications, financial transactions. You use it for building web applications, enterprise applications. For transactional processing, you use OLTP. So that can be your SQL, Postgres, or RDBMS system. So all your RDBMS can be used here. So whereas your analytical processing system, like data warehouse system, comes under OLAP. It's a online analytical processing system where your BigQuery, Snowflake, Redshift, Databricks comes under OLAP. which is meant for processing large amount of data, and it can scale horizontally. The advantage here is it can scale horizontally, and it stores the column level format here. And the advantage here is it can store historical data, it can store current data. So you can use it for analytics, you can use it for data products, you can use it for machine learning, generative AI. So different kind of advanced analytics, analytical use case, you can business intelligence, you can use OLAP system. Okay, and here, as it is scalable in nature, you can run your long running queries. You can store large amount of data. They can store 10 years of data, 20 years of data. So all the enterprise data can store it. So organization has OLTP also. They have OLAP also. So OLTP, they store the application data, operational data, or web application, mobile application data, where the OLAP stores historical data, current data from different sources. You collect the data from different sources and store it. Okay, that is the difference between database and data warehouse. So you can see here in database, we store operational data, where data warehouse we store historical data and organization wide data here. So we are collecting data from different sources. So in organization, there can be 100 plus sources, 100 to 300 plus sources. So why 100 plus 300 sources? Because there are different business group, and each business group use different applications. They may use SAP, they may use Salesforce, they may use SaaS products, different SaaS products. They may use cloud, and they may use different their own applications also. So all these applications are source. So you collect the data from all the system, bring it to the data warehouse, then you do intelligence, then you do analytics. So that is why your data warehouse is a centralized storage. So then why we need data mart? Why we need data lake? So data warehouse,
Sir,
you can, yeah, go ahead.
yes. Sir, a question. Sir, so can a database be OLTP and OLAP at the same time?
You if you are going to use same, right, then your customers, right? So for example, you are using a web application and end users are using it. The end user can be let us say a retail customer. The e-commerce applications are running and end users are using it. If you are using the same database for both the purpose, if I run an analytical query and my database goes down, it will affect the end users. They are going to have problem. If the query is performance is slow, the end users has going to have problem. So if you are going to use same database for all the purpose, the end users are going to get affected. I don't want my customers to be directly affected because of running some analytical operations. That is why we always separate analytical system separately and operational system separately. Okay, we will not use
Okay. Yes, sir.
everything as one system.
And sir, when you said vertical and
Yeah,
horizontal,
yeah.
like vertical means that you add another server on top of a server, and horizontal, like, can you explain this, please?
So vertical scaling is I can have single server, I can have a load balancer separate. I can have single server, two or three server or four or five server, but everything will be running on a replicated mode. The data will be replicated. It's not going to it's not a partition data. Okay, so same data will be copied in multiple server and it will have a load balancer. So if you want to read the data, you can read from any of the server, but all the server are replicated data. So that is how your OLTP system can be. So OLTP system, you cannot copy the data and share it between multiple machines. You cannot do that. That is what horizontal scaling. Horizontal scaling, you can copy a entire data and then store it into multiple machines, partition it and store it in multiple machines. So you can, if you want to scale up, you can add more machines. So you can store large amount of data. But vertical scaling, as you are doing replication, you are going to store the same data in all the machines. And you cannot split the data and then store it in multiple machines. I cannot do that because you have a limitation. You cannot do parallel processing. It is meant for row level operation. So in OLTP, we do row level operations. It's going to do row level of read and then row level of write. So if you are going to store it in one machine only, it can do that operation. So if you are having a cluster of machines, that means you're having 3 or 4 machines for a production setup, you are going to do you are implementing a load balancer and having a replica of the same data in multiple machines. That is how you implement for OLTP. Whereas in OLAP, I can have the data split it into multiple machines. So I can parallelly write the data into multiple machines. You can do parallel processing and you can store it in multiple machines. So you can scale the data easily. That is the advantage of OLAP systems. That is what horizontal
Yes,
scaling.
sir.
In horizontal scaling, you can add more machines. In vertical scaling, you cannot add more machines for scaling up. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. So far we have seen what is database, what is OLTP and OLAP. So in organization, they have data marts. Data marts are department specific data. So as I said, organization has like sales, marketing, customer, like the different department within the organization. So department specific data, the specific business specific data can be stored in again data warehouse itself. So it's a data mart is nothing but a data warehouse again, but it is department specific data. And data lake can store structured data, semi-structured data, and structured data. So your data lake can be AWS S3, can be Azure ADLS layer. So where it is cheaper, your data lake is cheaper, I can store different type of data. I can store media, video files, audio files, images. So when you are working on machine learning or when you are working on generative AI, you need to store different kind of data also. I need to store documents. I need to store video files, audio files for doing machine learning. So I will have, along with the structured data, I have unstructured data, semi-structured data. So I can store all this data in data lake. So in organization, we use all the storage layer. We use database, we use data warehouse, data marts, and data lake. Okay. So now let us see. So in organizations, as I said, they have different storage layers. They have a data platform or a data analytical platform, or they call it as data driven products. So this is a platform which is there where they do data engineering, where they do advanced analytics, where the data are collected. So they have a data platform. In the data platform, they bring all the data from different sources, and that data is like stored into data lake, data warehouse, or data mart, and then the data is used for different purpose. So the data is are used by different teams for different purpose. So we are going to work on the data platform. So you are going to use data platform. So there you use data lake, data warehouse. So for example, I can build a data platform using Databricks or using Snowflake or using Synapse Analytics or BigQuery. So using the different products, I can build a data platform. So if we are going to use Snowflake, so you can see here, using Snowflake, you can build a data platform. In the data platform, we have different layer, ingestion layer, transformation layer, delivery and reporting layer. Like this, you can have different layers. So this we can say it. So ingestion layer is first layer, or landing area, transformation layer, delivery and reporting. So you work on any of this layer, right? You may work on ingestion, you may work on the transformation or delivery layer you'll work. So this is like with the Snowflake, you are going to collect the data from different sources and you are going to do transformations and you are going to help in delivery. So the consumers are going to use it. They may use it. The consumers can be different type of consumers. Okay, they may be dashboards. They may be a machine learning team, data science teams. They may be different finance teams. So your consumers can be different teams and your sources can be different sources. You may collect the data from different sources. I may collect from OLTP, enterprise applications, web logs. You collect the various data and then store it. So in a data platform, we work on collecting the data. We work on ETL transformations. We work on the ingestion, transformation, and delivery. Okay, so this is where we work on the data platform. So now we have seen what is data warehouse. We have seen modern data platform. What are the layers that are there in modern data platform? So let us see in the course what we are going to see, and in the course what tools we are going to learn. Okay, so in real world, we work with cloud. We use AWS or Azure or Google Cloud. Okay, so you ingest the data from different systems, you bring it to cloud, or you have the data in the cloud. So we will see what are the things we are going to see in the course. Okay, so the first thing here is ingestion layer. Okay, so in ingestion, you collect the data from different sources and bring it to your Snowflake landing area. Okay, so ingestion is the first part. So ingestion, you can use different tools. I can use Phytron, I can use Airbyte, I can use ADF, or I can use Glue Spark. For ingestion of data, I can use any of this thing. Okay, in the course, we are going to see with Airbyte, we are going to see with Spark and then ADF. We are not going to use Python, but we are going to see Airbyte. We are going to use ADF. So we are going to ingest the data from source systems here. So source system can be SQL Server, it can be your MySQL, different kind of database, or it can be SAP applications or Salesforce. So you may collect the data from different sources here. So ingestion is the first step. We need to know how we can ingest the data. Then transformations. For transformations, you can use DBT, or you can use SQL, or you can use Snowspark. Okay, different ways you can do transformations. So in the course, we are going to see SQL, we are going to see DBT, and then we are going to use Snowspark also. So we are going to see different transformations, and we will see using Power BI how you can access the data, or using data science how you can access this data, using Python how you can access the data on the consumer side. Okay, so in the course, we are going to cover ingestion, transformation, and delivery. So we'll see all this thing, how to do ingestion using copy command, or how to do ingestion using Snowpipe, and then how to do transformations using DBT, SQL, Snowspark. We will see all this thing, and how to do delivery. That means how to like do data sharing, how to replicate the data, how to use Streamlit. So we will see this also. So in the course, we will cover on the all the layers: ingestion layer, transformation layer, and delivery layer. Okay. So here, so we are going to use for ingestion different tools, and then for transformation different tools. So we are going to learn here Snowflake. First, we will start with basics of Snowflake. Then we will get into ingestion and then DBT transformations layer. So first, we will start with how you can create tables, how you can create stage, how to integrate with cloud, how to integrate with AWS cloud, Azure cloud, access your buckets. So we will do that first. So we will start with ingestion of data from using copy command, using stage, using Snowpipe. So we'll start all this thing, the basics one. Then we will get into the advanced one, ingestion from using tools, or ingestion and transformation using other tools. That is what we are going to see. So now let me go to the course syllabus. You can see here. So as I said, in the course, we are going to start from basics. We are starting with OLTP OLAP, and then Snowflake editions, how to install Snowflake, how to use trial version. So we are going to use trial version here. So let me show the Snowflake here. So you can see I'm using trial version. So you can use your email ID and create Snowflake account. So we'll create database, we'll create the required tables. So trial version is enough for us. So you need a free trial. Is my voice clear, or do you see any? Uh,
I can hear your voice,
is
but
my voice clear?
nothing on. Yes, but nothing is coming on the screen. I think it's hunger.
Okay. I have to share it again. Let me share it. Give me 2 minutes. I think now it should be fine. My screen should be visible. So you are able to see the syllabus. I'm sharing the syllabus.
No, still nothing. At least I can't see anything.
Yes, now we can see, but I think some network issue from your side.
Yeah, I think network issue. Now it should be fine. Is it
Yeah.
clear now? Voice and then you can see, right?
Yes, yes. Can
Okay.
see both that.
So you can see the yeah. So you can see the syllabus here. So in the course, we are starting from Snowflake introduction. That means we are seeing how to set up your trial version and how to create your warehouse, how to create tables, database, how to create Snowflake objects like user role privileges and tables views, creating stages and cloud integration with AWS, how to use, with Azure, how to use. So we are starting from basics and we are getting into advanced. So we are starting from using creating our tables, then working on use case here. So then we are starting with the Airflow. We are working on Airflow for orchestration. We are building a data pipeline using Airflow. And we are seeing how to use Airflow with Snowflake. And we are learning there how to create a workflow and use Airflow. And here you are using integration with AWS. And then we are building a data pipeline here. And we are using Snowspark for transformations. Again, you can see here we have started with Snowflake basics, then went into Airflow, then we went into transformation layer. So we started on ingestion. The first thing we start is ingestion, and then we went into orchestration, then transformations. So in the transformation, we are using SQL. We will be using Snowspark and DBT. So we are going to use 3 types of transformations, and we are starting the project. So we are going to cover 2 projects. The first project you can see we are starting here, where we are building a multi-op architecture, and we are taking a real-world use case, and we are doing integration with Airflow, DBT, and Snowflake here. So that is the first project, and we are covering ADF here with AD, how to use Azure and do in create your pipeline using ADF we are covering, and GitHub integration. And next is with Kafka, how you can do streaming pipeline, how you can build, and performance and optimizations. So here we are covering 2 projects. One is batch processing pipeline. Let me go to the project. So this is the first project. So in the first project, we are building a batch processing framework. It's a bulk load of data, and we are collecting the data into the raw ingestion layer, and we are doing transformation and delivery. So in the first project, if you see the internals of that, we use Airbyte for data ingestion. We use Airbyte or Glue. So you can use either Airbyte or Glue for ingestion of data. We bring it into the raw layer. Then we do transformation using DBT. And we use orchestration, we use Airflow. Okay, and we use DBT for unit testing. We build SED type 2 models, incremental models, and we work on different kind of use cases here. So we cover a full load of processing, and we work on a data pipeline and real world use case here. This is the one which you are doing it in the first project, and how we are building the ingestion layer, transformation layer, and the delivery layer here. So that all the thing we are building it in the first project. And other than that, we are going to see with ADF how you can do the same. So how you can build ingestion, how you can do DBT. We are integration with ADF also we are seeing. And in the second project, we are using a streaming pipeline. So where we are collecting data from Kafka or Kinesis and bringing it into streaming pipeline. So that is the second project. It's a streaming pipeline. So here we are working on collecting the data from streaming mode and building a streaming pipeline using Snowflake. Here we are using Snowflake task, streams, and procedures, SQL, Snowflake SQL for building a streaming pipeline. So we are covering 2 projects here, and then we are covering starting from basics And we are covering advanced topics here, like Airflow, DBT integrations, and working with streams, task, streaming, like Snowflake or different objects we are covering here. Okay, and let me go into. So as I said, we are using Airbyte for ingestion. So in Airbyte, I can map my. So why Airbyte here? But you can do the source and target mapping from UI itself. So I can say my source and my target, source and destination mapping. I can do it from UI. So I can extract my data. For ingestion of data, you can use Airbyte. So I can configure my source and my target. I can configure my Snowflake here. So I can ingest my data. So if you see here, I have already done it. I can run it in full load or incremental load. So I can do both. So I can run a incremental load or full load. So using Airbyte, using UI option, you can do ingestion. So that we will see it in the first project. So we will take the data from source systems, ingest into Snowflake into raw tables, and the data we will do transformations. So you can use Airbyte for ingestion, or the other option is you can use Glue. I can go to AWS cloud. In AWS, I can use Glue for collect the data from different systems. You can get the data, use Spark, and then Python code here. So using Glue, we are collecting the data. So the other option is, so we are using three options here. If I can use ADF. Using ADF, I'm going to do that.
Your voice is breaking.
So you can see here, like I'm using SQL Server, extracting data from SQL Server using Glue. So we can use Glue for extracting data, or you can use ADF.
Your screen is stuck, I guess. Yeah,
Screen is not visible.
yeah, it's stuck on AWS Glue window.
Yeah, let me share it again. Can you see my screen now? I'm changing it to ADF.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I can do ingestion of data in different ways here. So as I said, initially, if you see the ingestion process, so I can use Python and Spark for doing ingestion. That means from the source system, so my source system here is MySQL, or my source system can be SQL Server. That means from operational system, the data comes into SQL Server or MySQL here. So I am collecting the data, bringing it to my landing area using this ingestion tools. I can use ADF. I can use.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Snowflake doesn't have its own tool for ingestion because we are using some other third-party tools for ingestion, and you're also using DBT, that is another third-party tool. So Snowflake doesn't do its own ingestion. Do we
DBT
have
is
to?
for transformations. DBT
Yeah.
core we use for transformation. For ingestion,
Yeah.
so here in enterprise, for ingestion, they use different ETL tools. Okay, because ingestion is you are bringing the data into your landing area, into your cloud, into your S3 buckets, or into your Snowflake data warehouse. Because you are from external systems, external applications. The data are there in RDBMS, or the data are there from ERP systems or SAP HANA, something systems, right? So I have to extract the data. I'm using a ETL tool here, cloud-based ETL tool, and extracting the data and bringing it to Snowflake. Snowflake doesn't
So
have its own ETL tools here.
okay.
Okay.
So let's say if the data is in Azure, so we will be using Azure Data Factory. Snowflake doesn't have its own connector to get the data directly from Azure.
So it doesn't have like here we are using 300 plus sources. Okay, so like RDBMS, we have ERP systems like multiple sources. So they don't have multiple sources, right? And it's not easier to use. They have connectors. There are one or two connectors, but I have multiple sources. And there are already cloud-based ETL tools like ADF, Glues are there, which we can use it easily and then collect from all the sources. So we Snowflake mainly here, they are focusing on data warehouse functionality, then doing ETL job here. Okay, so
Okay.
we are using ETL tools, cloud-based ETL tool for extracting data here.
Okay. And why would we be using DBT?
DBT is for transformation. So I get the data in a raw form. I cannot store the data as it is into my tables. So we have to
Okay.
transform the data. So the data is in raw form. So for example, I get the data from ERP. It has 300 columns. I may not
Hmm.
need. I may not need all 300 columns. I want only 5 columns or 10 columns. I do transformations here. I convert the form into other form and then store the data. So we use
So,
DBT for transformations.
so the only purpose of Snowflake is basically storing the data.
It's like see in Snowflake we are storing the data and we are doing transformation also. So it's not only
But we
storing,
are
right?
but
We
we
are
are using DBT for transformation. We are not. So are we?
DBT is going to run on top of Snowflake. Okay, DBT is a integration build tool. It's a build tool which uses your Snowflake warehouse. It runs SQL on top of Snowflake. So it's a more of a build tool. On Snowflake, you are using DBT tool for running it, but it's going to execute using your warehouse, run SQL on top of Snowflake.
So we are ingesting the data. Then so we directly ingest. So when we are ingesting the data, it is going through DBT and doing some sort of transformation, and then that transformation is
No,
getting stored.
no, no. So we have, so as I said initially, we have multiple consumers. So I have data science team who needs raw data. Okay, so they need a raw form of data. So in organizations, I have multiple teams. So for each team, I need to provide different type of data. So I have raw data from SAP. I'm getting a raw data, or from
Yes.
like MySQL, I'm getting raw data. So let us say my data science team needs the raw data. Okay, so I have to give data science team my raw data. Like I need 100 columns here. Let us say 100 columns also they need it.
Hmm.
And I have a sales team which need only like a processed data. So from the raw data, they want me to process it, and they need only 10 columns, and that is used by sales team here. And I have a marketing team who wants aggregated data.
Okay.
They want only 5 columns. So from the same source, I am going to extract the data, do transformations here. So from the raw data, I'm going to give it 100, like create a in the landing area. So I am creating landing like a table or database here, and I'm creating processed database or table here, and then I'm
Hmm.
creating a goal tables here. So I'm creating different tables and giving the data here. Okay, all
Okay.
this data I'm doing it on like a Snowflake itself. I'm going to use Snowflake. So here from using ETL tools, we are extracting only. The ingestion is after ingestion, the ETL tools work is done. Then your transformations, the transformation logic for business is like very huge, because we have multiple sources. I have 300 plus sources. I have a lot of complex use cases here. For transformations, we have a lot of complex use case. So we are going to build everything within the transformation layer within the Snowflake. So that is where we work. We do a lot of things here. We write SQLs, we write Snowspark, we use DBT for doing all the transformations.
So the raw data first gets stored in Snowflake, right?
Yeah.
So let's say whatever the raw data is, like 300 columns or 100 columns, whatever, the raw data, before getting, when we get ingested, we directly
So
save
this
it in
raw
Snowflake.
data, it can be there in Snowflake also. It can be there in data lake also. Sometimes I get the raw data from SAP. Okay, and I am
Okay.
storing into data lake, and I can access the data lake from Snowflake, and you can use it. Okay,
And the
that means
data
the
lake
data
is in Snow,
S3,
data lake is okay.
S3.
Okay. So
Okay,
what's
so
the
your
point
data.
of Snowflake then?
So like this data is a raw data, right? It's not a clean data. So Snowflake, if I store structured data, it's going to be efficient. So whatever data, if it is in clean form, I can store it in data warehouse. This data is not a clean data, right? So I'm getting like a raw data, which I have to clean it and then use it. So this data, you can store it. You have options here. You have multiple options. I can store it in data warehouse. I can store it in data lake, and you have in data lake itself you have multiple options. So in organizations we use different options. Some data I store it into data lake. That means the data is in raw in form. I cannot store all. I cannot create a table of 300 columns, right? Why I need to create 300 columns? Because they are not going to use. So why I need to create columns of let us say SAP is sending you a table data of 300 columns, and you are not going to use it. So why I have to create a table with 300 columns and then store all this data? Instead of that, I can dump it into S3 and take the required columns and use it in Snowflake. That is how we do it. Instead of storing directly into Snowflake, you can bring it to data lake and then store it into your Snowflake.
So we are doing transformation basically, and then the transformed data is getting stored in Snowflake.
So we can transformation. So we are getting data from source, and our Snowflake is a target. And here you are doing transformations. So the transformation can be different steps, right? Selecting a few columns is again a transformation. Filtering is a transformations, or applying some complex logic is a transformation. So this we call it as a data pipeline. So this is what we call it as a data pipeline. So we build a data pipeline. So this we call it as a data pipeline. So we connect to the source, extract data, do transformation, and store it in target. So this is a data pipeline. This data pipeline we orchestrate and run it. Okay, so we store it into Snowflake. For ingestion only, we use ETL tools. But for transformation, we use SQL or DBT or Snowspark here. And this transformation runs on the Snowspark here.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Let us come back. So far, we have seen what project we will be seeing. So we are working on the first project. So for the first project, for ingestion of data, I am going to use Airbyte, or I may use ETL tools for ingestion of data. So if I do ingestion, I'll get my data. So let me go and show in, I can see here. After doing ingestion, I'll get the data in my Snowflake database. So let me show you data. So you can see the data is here. All the tables are created. I can use the raw form of data. Then transformations, I can schedule my transformation using Airflow. So Airflow is for orchestration. So I have a data pipeline. So we are creating some data pipeline. So this is one data pipeline. So this data pipeline, I can use Airflow and run it at particular time. So I can run it daily at a particular time, scheduled way, or daily at multiple times I can run it. So you can see Airflow we are using for orchestrations here. So here I can use DBT or run SQL. So you can run a DBT job or run a SQL here. Using Airflow, you can do orchestration here. So you can create a data pipeline and run the data pipeline in multiple ways. So for example, I'll run this. So if I run this workflow, so what it will do, it will I'll run my test case. It will create my tables. And in the Snowflake, so you can see here raw data is there, silver data is here, and bronze data is there. So the data model, your DBT will create the data models here. It will create the dimension tables, fact tables, and it will load the data into summary tables here. So we have the summary tables in gold. So that is what your orchestration system is going to do. So if I go and see here, first it is running a test case. So you can see it is taking all my use case, and for all my use case, it is running a test case before starting the run layer here. So here we are using DBT. for transformations, before starting the transformation, I'm doing integration testing. So if all my test cases are successful, then it is going to start creating my tables. So it will create all the tables here. The run silver will create my tables. So you can see here one by one, the task is running. One first test ran, then seed ran. Then you can see here it's going to run my silver tables. It's going to create my silver tables, the process tables. So this is my Airflow DAX, and I'll go to my DBT project. So in DBT, you can see the silver models, dimension tables, and fact tables. So if you see there, we have done an SQL here. So in the dimension tables, for example, customer, we have done a SQL here. So in DBT, we are using SQL, and we are building the incremental models, or like normal models. You'll use incremental models or snapshot models or normal models. Okay, you can see here. Let me maximize it. So it ran all my incremental models. It created dimension tables, fact tables. So it is incrementally inserting the data. So let me go to Snowflake, and I'll go to silver tables. I'll go to dim customer. So you can see the data here. So in my source, whenever change is happening, if I run my like Airbyte, the data will come into landing. Incremental data will come into landing. And if I run my workflow, the incremental data will be uploaded to silver layer or gold layer. So that is how we are doing full load also. We are doing incremental load also. By using help of Airbyte and Airflow, we are doing incremental loads. So whatever changes got updated, I can immediately run my Airflow, and that changes will be updated to the models. So that is what we can see it here. So it updated the dimension tables, fact tables, and if I run my DAGs for the gold tables, it will create all the gold tables required also. So let me, okay, so if you run this, it will create the DAGs also. So using Airflow, we are doing orchestration here, and for ingestion, we are using Airbyte here, and we are using DBT for transformations, and we write SQL here. So in the course, we are going to cover Airflow, how to do orchestration using Airflow, and transformations, how you can use transformation using Snowspark, we are going to cover, and DBT, how we are going to use for transformations, and we are implementing a real world use case. We are taking a real world use case and implementing it, and we are seeing from ingestion, transformation layer by layer, and we are seeing how to use GitHub integrations, how to integrate your code with GitHub. We are seeing how CI/CD pipelines work. That is also we are covering. And then the next one is streaming project. We are working on a streaming use case. We are using the Kafka or Kinesis here and covering the streaming use case here. Okay, so this is the one we are covering in the course. So any questions from anyone? Okay, any question on the syllabus or on the projects or on the tools used here? So why we are learning here? Yeah, go ahead.
So sorry, I joined 15 minutes late. After that, like I have gone through the like project something. And for this learning Snowflake, how much amount of expertise we need in the SQL? Like, can you tell me
You
on that?
need to know basic SQL. That is enough
Okay,
for learning it.
okay,
We are starting
okay.
from Snowflake from basics, right? If you have basic
Hmm,
knowledge on SQL, that is enough to learn
okay,
this.
okay, okay. And basically, I'm from testing background. I work as ETL tester. I have a knowledge on like SQL where I use. Like if I want to make the transition into the like Snowflake data engineer kind of role, like this syllabus looks like an app for me. But when you are using different tools, that is required any kind of coding,
So
like
we
for
will
configuration.
Yeah, we will use little bit of Python for
Python. Okay.
we'll use little bit of Python, which is a template code, which you will not
Okay.
write a lot of logics. You will reuse the same code. Okay, because
Okay.
when you use Airflow, we use Python. Little
Okay.
bit of basic Python. You don't need to have a complex knowledge. You need to have basic knowledge. And we use cloud.
Oh,
So we use AWS or Azure cloud because for
okay.
integration we use cloud here. So that we will
Okay.
cover
Okay.
it from basics. Cloud, I'll cover it from basics. We'll create
Okay.
a S3 bucket. I'll explain that also in the course
Okay.
itself. You need to have basic
Okay.
knowledge on Python, a little bit knowledge on Python. You don't need to have a complex knowledge because we are going to write simple code for creating orchestration. Like we are going to write some Python code.
Okay. Then like okay, that's fine. I have one more thing. Like in the Snowflake, it's like it's a drag and drop tool, or we need to write the SQL code from the scratches. What kind of logics will be there? I want to know that because I don't have any knowledge on Snowflake. What kind of
Uh,
code we need to write for SQL? For the transformations, we use the DBT tool, right? For injections, where we need to write the queries, which part? Like in the landing, you're saying that there's a staging layer is there.
yeah.
After that, we use the DBT for the transformation. In which like portion of the part where we need to write the more amount of SQL code, logics kind of thing.
So the thing is, like, we are going to create resources. Like I have to create tables, I have to create database, right? So that
Okay.
you are going to write it in Snowflake. So we have Snowflake Web UI. So here you are
Okay.
going to write the code. For example, for creating tables.
Okay.
So you can see I'm creating tables. I'm
Okay.
creating procedures.
Okay.
So okay,
Procedures also we need to create the procedure.
yeah. So we'll use procedures also.
As per the requirement, need to create the procedure.
Yeah, procedures also.
But my understanding is I worked on Informatica, where if you click on like one task, one workflow, the automatically code will be generated on the backend part. Using the Snowflake, we have that feature, or we need to write the code from the scratch as per our requirement. That is my question.
So we are going to use ChatGPT here. So we are going to get help from ChatGPT and write a lot of code. So we are going to use the help of ChatGPT. So you are not going to write a
Okay.
lot of code, right? We will get the syntax there. We will get the Python syntax also. So even though you don't know Python, we will write a DAG, for example, to create the Airflow DAG. We will use ChatGPT and generate the code. So we don't have
Okay.
option of UI based like Informatica. You don't have option here. Okay, if that
I'm
was
not
there,
talking about Python,
then
like SQL part I'm asking. Like SQL we
SQL
need to
also,
generate.
yeah,
Okay.
you cannot generate it. You will use ChatGPT and generate the code. That is how we are going to do. For creating tables, for creating procedures, or writing SQL, you can use ChatGPT and generate the code. We don't have a UI based thing here in Snowflake. We have to
Okay.
write the code here, and then in DBT also. So let me
Okay.
open a DAG. I'll go to Airflow and I'll show you a DAG here. So the transformation code, you can see I'm writing SQL here. I'm writing SQL here.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how we write it. The other one, I'll show DBT project. So in DBT also, we use SQL. So if you go to the models, so if you go to gold, so the transformation logic, you can see here I'm writing SQL. Okay, like this we write SQL. So each file is SQL file. Okay, so we use DBT for layering and then building everything. So that is why we use DBT. Okay, so you can see SQL, all these files we are doing SQL.
Okay, in the DBT, like we can do the null checks kind of thing. For DBT, we can do that. Before you mentioned, like it will perform like first it will run the test, right? What kind of test we are going to implement in our thing?
So
like
there are
incremental load test.
in DBT, you can define a generic test case. So I can go and say for all these columns, do null check, unique check. I can define it. Okay, so it will verify if this column is null in this table. This is we call it a generic test. Or if you want to define your own logic, you can write a test case. You can write your own test case. For application logic, you can write. Both you can do. Generic test case is there, and your own custom test case also you can write.
Okay. Thanks. Nothing from my end. Thanks for
Okay,
clarifying.
fine. Yeah. So we are going to use ChatGPT for if you are not familiar with Python, we are going to create DAGs in Airflow for the workflows. So if you see here, I'm running multiple workflows. You can see all this workflow. So all this workflow are nothing but Python code here, and this Python code are reusable code. You are not going to you are going to work with cloud, and you are going to extract the data and run your SQLs here. So this Python code you can use ChatGPT and extract the code here. Okay, so you can use the code, and that code you can reuse it again and again. So we call DBT or we call Snowflake SQL in Airflow, and we do the orchestration. So this you don't have a UI based like Informatica. You don't have a UI based tool here in Snowflake. We have to write code. So if it was very simpler, if it was the easier option to do it, then that can be easily replaced with AI. Using bots, they can easily replace. So these are complex one. So it's not easily replaceable by bots because this all the data engineering works. Or you are going to do collecting from different sources, and you are going to write code and use different tools for doing it. So this cannot be easily automated. It cannot be replaced by bots, or it cannot be replaced by generative AI applications or machine learning applications. So you have to do integration here by writing codes. That is how we can do it. So we use Airflow for orchestration, and we use Snowflake for writing transformations, for creating storage, creating tables, and storing the data. Okay, so any questions from anyone so far on the syllabus or on the projects? Okay, so like whatever we are learning here, which is related to the job market. Okay, so we are seeing what is trending in the. I have worked with different data platforms, and we have worked in architecture design, and I've worked on implementations from end to end of different data platforms, data products. So we are taking a real world use case, and then we are building as a project, and then we are showing it to you. So you learn it. So the whatever you are doing here are not theoretical concepts. We are taking a real world use case and building it and showing it to you. So if you go to organizations, the same project will be, you will be working on the same project. So you can showcase this as experience. You can showcase as a 2 years or 3 years of experience. Whatever you have done this one, it will take normally 2 years or 3 years to do in organizations. Okay, as I worked on this before, it's easier for me to build. So I'm sharing the implementation in an easier way, so you can understand the live implementation here. So that is how it helps. And the tools we use are, if you go and search in job market, you can easily see they will ask for all these tools. So if you apply for Snowflake jobs, they are going to ask you, you need to have experience in DBT, Airflow, and any cloud, AWS or Azure, any of the cloud. You should know S3. So all these things are basic requirement in the companies. So that everything we are trying to cover in this course. So we are trying to cover all this thing related to the real world, whatever required in the company. So we are trying to teach here. Okay, any questions from anyone? Okay,
Hello.
yeah, go ahead.
Is there any prerequisite before joining this course?
You need to have basic knowledge on SQL and a little bit knowledge on Python. So you don't know, other than that, you don't need any cloud knowledge. We will learn like here in the course itself, you will learn other things. SQL is the prerequisite for this course. You need to know SQL.
Okay, okay.
Hi,
And
Virundra.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so person with like in IT 10 plus years of experience,
Yeah.
can they enroll in this course? And,
Yeah. So this course is meant for junior also, and then senior person also. So if you are senior one, if you are working on as a data architect,
okay.
for you also it will suit, because we are working on integration of different systems, and then we are working on the architecture design, building a data warehouse, and then working on the architecture of 2 projects here. So it will be useful for you also.
And 2 to 3 years, this project we can show, right?
Yeah. So the projects, whatever we have done here, which we can easily show 2 to 3 years of experience. The first project, this will take at least 1.5 years to build the first project. And again, the second project will take again 1.5 years to build this project. So you can show 3 years of experience easily by using this project. Here, the projects, everything are like the projects, everything. I will run it and show. So for example, I will show the previous batch. So it will give you a good idea. So you can see here what we are doing. So you will have the recording. So after each sessions, you can go over the recording, and I'll share the SQLs. Whatever I show it in the class, SQL will be shared and PDF content will be shared. So like that, we will start with basics, creating tables, creating stage, working on scenarios, and slowly we will get into projects. So if you see here, so we have started on transformations, ingestions, and then DBT. Then we went to project one. So project, we have built a data platform. We have worked on the project, and then we completed the project. Then we went into orchestration of using ADF, and then Kafka integration, streaming, streaming use case, streaming project, then interview preparations, optimizations, query profile. So this is how the project goes. Okay, so this is how, so we give task here and we share the code. All the codes is shared and the contents also is shared. So all the contents will be shared. So you can take it and run it. And if you have issues, you can contact me. I'll help you for running that if you have issues. Or if you want to have call, I'll help you on that. That is how it works. And this
Hello.
course, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I have experience with Informatica platform for like 4 years or more than that. And I actually moved to academics and data science related areas. So my question right now about this course is, in industry scenarios, do you need to have a good level of PySpark experience, or these tools and this set of tools are complete in a way like a ecosystem to build a project right now in the industry, or they do need a good level of PySpark as well along with this course, like this tools or set of tools or ecosystem you were talking about?
Yeah, so here, as I said before, I'm going to cover you SQL also. I'm going to cover Snowspark also. If you see few DAGs, I have Snowspark code. So transformation, so same transformation, I can do it with SQL using DBT, or I can use Snowspark and cover it. So we'll see both. So if you have
So
from Python background,
Snowspark is very similar, is same as a Spark, just PySpark. It's just
yeah, it's same as Spark. You can see the code here. I can sharing it. Can you see it? I'm doing transformations here using Python. It's nothing but a Python. You are running Python code and you are using Spark here. Okay, for distributed processing, you are going to run it on Snowspark. You are going to run it on Snowflake. You are going to use Snowflake warehouse and you are going to run your code. And that internally will use Snowflake data and then do the transformations here. Okay, so the purpose of Snowspark is for transformation. So transformation, you can do it using DBT, or you can use SQL, or you can use Snowspark. So you have three options here. So if you are from SQL background, you can do it in SQL, or you can use DBT. Or if you are from Python background, you can use SQL, or you can go for Snowspark. So you have the option here. I'm going to teach both. So you can choose what option you want. If you want to choose SQL, if you are comfortable with SQL, you can go for transformation using SQL and DBT. Or if you are from Python background, you can use Python here for doing the transformations. So here we write data frame or we write SQL here. Again, here we write data frames using Python. We read the data, transform one form to other form. We do data quality checks. We write all the validations here and transformations here. We do it using Python code here.
understood. Thank Thank you.
Okay, so any questions from anyone? So in the course, as I said, we are going to cover like structured data, semi-structured data. We are going to cover both. Unstructured data we may not be using, but we will cover copy command, snowpipe, transformation using snowspark, transformation using SQL. We'll cover transformation using DBT and streams, task. All this thing will be covered. Okay, so for ingestion we will be covering, transformation will be covering, and integration of DBT we will cover, and then Airflow we will cover, and using ingestion using glue with cloud integrations, like how to do cloud integration, we will cover that also. That will be covered. All the basic thing will be covered, and we are getting into advanced section also. And I'll explain you on the optimizations, query profiling, how to do query profiling in Snowflake. That also will be covered. Okay, fine. So any questions from anyone?
Yeah, I have one question related to like showing these kind of projects and moving for like both internal or external. Like my current role is not aligned with uh, data engineering stuff, but yeah, like I want to move into some different role going forward. So how can I showcase these kind of projects to make the recruiters realize like I am working real time
So
like that?
here we are going to show you two use case. One is, I think one will be retail project. Another is a logistics application.
Yeah.
So logistics. So that normally data engineering project, the architecture is common across different platform, different sector. The architecture is common. So you, like what is the architecture here? As I said here, collecting the data from different sources, ingestion, transformation, consumption. So this is the architecture, right? So this principle you can apply it to any sector. So if I'm going to explain it for one project, you can easily apply it for your current role or the previous project you worked. So you can showcase your projects, or if you don't want that, we are going to show two projects. You can project that also. Okay, so that is how you can showcase your experience on the project here. So as I said, we are going to cover logistics data platform and real-time POA scenario, two projects here. So this description you can use it, or if you don't want this two project, for you are working on some banking sector, for that sector itself you can show it, because the principle is same. So the architecture and principle is going to be same across all the organizations. So we are going to build a multi-hop architecture or medallion architecture. So the principle and then the architecture is same. It's not that I'm going to show whatever is that. It's not. It's a generalized architecture which is followed across all the enterprise.
Okay, got it, got it. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So the
I have a
batches are,
question.
yeah.
I have a question. Sorry for interruption.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are focusing on the projects, right? But we'll be having equal focus on the basic concepts and all those things, because what I feel is if we focus more on the projects, all these conceptual things get lost in this project thing actually. So we'll be giving equal focus
Yeah,
on the
yeah. So
concepts.
that is why we are starting with basics, and then slowly we'll get into project. So we are starting with basics. We are working on all the Snowflake objects. We are starting with that. Then we are getting into the projects. So we'll be
Right.
learning about all the Snowflake important concepts also. We'll learn it. But we use a project here. By building project, we learn. So it's easier to understand. When you build a project and learn each the layer, it's easier for you to visualize and understand it in clear way. That is why we are doing with the project.
Right. Right. Thank you.
Okay, so the project, the batches starts, it's a weekend batch. So the batches will be on Saturday, Sunday. It's on morning 8:30 to 10:30, 2 hours session. So it's starting from tomorrow, we are starting the batch. Like any questions from anyone?
Yeah, one question from my side.
Yeah.
There are many ETL tools and many databases and Azure technologies. But
Yeah.
why industry are using Snowflake? Is this easy for developers or client side? Why they attracted mostly to
So
Snowflake?
you can see here, I have compared with the latest, all the modern, most used data warehouse systems. So you can see BigQuery, Redshift, Databricks, and Azure Synapse Analytics. So in this, Snowflake is the market leader. Why? Because Snowflake is easier to use and it is faster. It's easier for the consumers. So who are the consumers? So think that I'm analyst or I'm working, I'm a top level management. I'm using dashboards. I'm using some visualization systems. For them, they need a faster performance.
Yeah.
So for them, they need to do faster SQL. In compare with all the system, Snowflake is faster, and they don't have to do fine tuning of query. They don't need to optimize the systems here, because Snowflake is a SaaS product. So they are building everything internally. So you don't have to do a lot of tuning here, and it's easier for consumers because it's faster. When compared with all the systems, Snowflake is faster and scalable, highly scalable. It can store large volume of data. It can process large volume of data. That is why Snowflake is preferred over other systems, and it's quickly, you can quickly install it and use it. So that is, it's on the cloud, so you can quickly create your trial accounts and use it. So that is the advantage here. So if I take Redshift, if I compare with Redshift, the problem in Redshift is it's not faster like Snowflake, and you need to do manual optimizations. You need to do manual fine tuning to improve performance, to fine tune the query. You need to do a lot of things, and you need to do a lot of manual installation of clusters, managing cluster. You don't have to do some optimization, but Snowflake is easier to use. That is why Snowflake is a market leader in data warehouse system.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Uh, Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
A person from a technical support working in a BPO can also join this course, or what would you recommend to me?
It's like you need to have basic knowledge in SQL, and you should have little bit knowledge on Python. So that is required. So if you have that, then you can join. Then the thing is, you have to put a lot of effort, time. So even though I'm going to teach it, for this course is going to happen for weekend, 2 hours. So I'm going to spend like 2 months, right? So this course is for 2 months. So after completing this course, you have to put a lot of effort and try whatever I'm teaching. You have to try it. Then only you are going to learn it. So you need to have enough time and you have to practice it. So if you can do it, then you can join this course.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, I I have another